Okay, so it's summer. You're 10 years old. You're bored out of your mind. And your mom goes, go hang out with Grandpa. So you walk into Grandpa's workshop, which smells like sawdust and old coffee, and he's building a bird feeder. Not because he's running a business, just because he likes birds. And you're like, can I paint that? So you paint this whole forest scene. Mushrooms, butterflies, little details everywhere. And Grandpa looks at it and goes, wow, that's actually good. Which, if you know Grandpa's, is basically a standing ovation. Then your neighbor sees it in the yard and says, can I buy one? And you're just standing there like, wait, people will pay for this? So you make more. You set up a booth at a craft fair. You start an Instagram. And then you do something absolutely wild. You point a camera at one of your bird feeders and just start streaming it, like just birds, eating, live, and people show up. Every single day, they're tuning in like it's Netflix. They're sending messages like, is the cardinal coming today? They're invested. So you think, what if I paint a feeder live and auction it off? First one sells for $85 because people watched you make it. They named the design in the chat. They felt connected to it. You just invented QVC for bird feeders. And now you've got a wait list. People from other states ordering your stuff. A whole streaming community. And you're doing this with your grandpa, who says this is the best retirement plan ever. That's my guest today, Lila Meadows, the feeder queen, and she's about to teach you how to turn wood scraps, paint, and a whole lot of bird watching into a business that people can't stop talking about. This is Tallie Talks. I'm Tallie Pennyworth, and you're about to learn how to build an empire out of literally anything, even if it starts in your grandpa's workshop. Let's go!
She's got a mind, she's got a spark, lighting up dreams from dawn to dark. Tallie talks, yeah, she's the voice, asking the questions, making the choice. Young hustlers rising, stories to tell, big ideas where passions dwell. Pull up a chair, grab your seat, let's talk the hustle, let's feel the beat. Tallie talks, yeah, Tallie talks, turning whispers into walks, dreaming big, take the shot. This is the place where dreams get called. Tallie talks, oh, Tallie talks, Tallie talks, ooh, yeah.
What's up, future moneymakers? Welcome back to Tallie Talks, the podcast where we prove you don't need a driver's license to drive a business. I'm your host, Tallie Pennyworth, and today we're talking to someone who literally built an empire out of wood scraps and paint. But here's the kicker. She did it with her grandpa, which is insane, because most kids I know can barely get their grandparents to stop calling them by their cousin's name, let alone build a six-figure business together. Today's guest turned backyard bird watching into a streaming sensation, turned custom orders into a wait list longer than the line for hot lunch on pizza day, and turned a hobby into, well, you'll see. Please welcome to the show, Lila Meadows, the feeder queen herself. Lila, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Tallie. This is awesome.
Okay, so I gotta know, how does a 10-year-old wake up one day and go, you know what? Bird feeders, that's my thing.
I mean, I didn't wake up thinking that. I was just bored one summer and my mom was like, go hang out with Grandpa. And Grandpa's workshop is honestly the coolest place ever. He's got tools and wood everywhere, and he was building this bird feeder for his yard.
So you were basically sent to Grandpa's workshop like it was kid jail.
Exactly. But then I started painting one of the feeders he made, and it turned out really cool. Like, I did this whole forest scene with mushrooms and butterflies, and Grandpa was like, wow, that's actually good.
Grandpa giving compliments? That's huge. My grandpa's idea of a compliment is just not criticizing you.
Right? But then our neighbor saw it in the yard and was like, can I buy one? And I was like, wait, people will pay for this?
Hold up. Stop right there. This is so important. You just discovered what we call product market fit. You made something cool, someone saw it and wanted to buy it. They came to you. You didn't even have to convince them. That's the dream, people.
Yeah. And then more neighbors started asking. So Grandpa and I made a bunch over a few weekends, and my mom helped me set up a booth at a craft fair.
Okay, craft fair booth. Let's talk about this. Because craft fairs are tough. You've got a lot of competition. How did you stand out?
So I made this big colorful sign that said Lila's Feeders for Feathered Friends.
Great name, by the way. Alliteration always works.
Thanks. And I basically just talked to everyone who walked by. Like, I'd tell them about the birds that would come to the feeder, and I'd show them photos on my mom's phone of cardinals and blue jays eating from the ones we already sold. People loved that.
See, this is genius. You weren't just selling bird feeders. You were selling an experience. You were selling the idea of waking up on a Saturday morning, drinking hot chocolate, and watching a little finch have breakfast in your backyard. That's way better than just saying, hey, want to buy a wooden box with a roof?
Exactly. And kids would always drag their parents over because the feeders were so colorful. So I'd talk to the kids about birds while their parents were looking at prices.
Smart. You created two customers, the kid who wants it and the parent who pays for it. That's advanced marketing, Lila. Some adults don't even understand that. All right, so you're crushing it at craft fairs. When did you realize this could be bigger? All right, moneymakers, quick break. But don't go anywhere because we're about to get into the good stuff. Real quick, if you're loving this episode, do me a favor. Take 2 seconds and share it with a friend who's always talking about making money. Send them the link, post it on your story, whatever. Because the more kids who hear this, the more kids who start building. And if you haven't already, hit that follow button so you don't miss next week's episode. Trust me, the guest we've got coming up is insane. Also, we want to hear your story. If you've started a business, or you're thinking about it, or you've got questions, DM us on Instagram at Tallie Talks Podcast. Who knows? Maybe you'll be my next guest. All right, enough from me. Let's get back to the episode. All right, so you're crushing it at craft fairs. When did you realize this could be bigger?
So I started posting pictures on Instagram. Well, my mom ran the account at first, but I told her what to write. And people from other states started commenting like, "Do you ship?" And I was like, "I guess we could."
Hold on. Let's talk about that moment. Because that's scary, right? Going from selling at a craft fair where you just hand someone a bird feeder to shipping stuff across the country?
Oh, it was terrifying. We had to figure out boxes and bubble wrap, and my mom had to teach me about shipping costs. We definitely lost money on the first few orders.
Yes, see, this is real talk. Everyone messes up pricing at first. What did you learn?
I learned you have to add up everything. The wood, the paint, the screws, the time it takes, the box, the shipping, the tape, everything. And then you have to charge more than that or you're just working for free.
Preach! Okay, so you figured out shipping. Then you did something that I think is absolutely wild. You started live streaming the bird feeders?
Yeah. So I set up a camera pointing at one of the feeders in our backyard and I just started streaming it. And I'd hop on and talk about whatever birds showed up.
That is content gold. You basically created bird TV.
Right? And people started tuning in every day. They'd send messages like, "Is the cardinal coming today?" Or, "I love the blue jay." It became this whole community thing.
This is what I love. You built an audience before you even asked for a sale. So many people try to sell right away, but you were like, let me just create something people enjoy watching. And then
I started doing live auctions. I'd paint a feeder while streaming and people could bid on it in the chat. The first one sold for $85.
$85 for a bird feeder?
Yeah, because people felt connected to it. They watched me paint it, they named the design together in the chat, and then they wanted to own it.
Lila, this is insane. You basically invented QVC for bird feeders. You created scarcity, only one of each design. You created community, everyone's watching together. And you created urgency, live auction, gotta bid now. Those are the 3 keys to selling anything.
I didn't even know I was doing that. I just thought it was fun.
That's the best part. You were just being yourself, and it worked. Okay, so now you've got this whole operation. How much time are you spending on this?
Weekends, mostly. Grandpa and I build on Saturdays, I paint on Sundays, and we stream a few times a week after school.
And your grandpa's cool with all this?
Oh, he loves it. He says it's the best retirement plan ever, hanging out with me and building stuff. Plus, he gets to teach me about woodworking, which he's really good at.
That's so wholesome I might cry. Moving on before I get emotional. All right, moneymakers. This is the part you've been waiting for. We just heard an incredible story, right? But here's the thing. That story doesn't help you unless you can actually use it. So right now, My guest and I are going to brainstorm business ideas that you can start. We're talking specific, actionable, I could literally do this tomorrow type ideas. No fluff, no theory, just real businesses you can build. Grab a notebook, open your notes app, whatever. You're going to want to write these down because by the end of this section, you're going to have at least 3 business ideas you could start this weekend. Let's brainstorm. All right, Lila, this is my favorite part of every episode. We're going to rapid fire brainstorm business ideas for kids listening who want to do something similar to what you did. But not bird feeders, because that's your thing.
Let's do it.
Idea number 1, butterfly boxes. Like bird feeders, but for butterflies. You could paint them in super bright colors, sell them at garden centers, maybe even partner with schools for their gardens.
Oh, I love that. And you could do a whole educational thing, like what plants attract butterflies, what kind of butterflies live in your area. You could even include wildflower seeds with every box.
Yes, you're upselling. Box plus seeds equals more money and more value. See? Lila gets it. Okay, idea number 2, bee hotels. I know they sound weird, but they're basically little wooden houses that help bees survive. Super trendy right now with the whole Save the Bees movement.
And you could paint them. Like, you could have ones that look like little apartment buildings with different colored doors. That's so cute.
And here's the key. You market it as help the planet while decorating your yard. People love feeling good about their purchases. Okay, next idea. Custom wooden signs for houses, like the Johnson family or Welcome to the Lake House. Every family wants one.
Oh, and you could do seasonal ones. Like, people could order a summer sign, then a fall sign, then a Christmas sign. That's repeat customers.
Lila, that's subscription thinking. I like it. Okay, what about fairy gardens? Little miniature houses, doors, furniture, all handmade and painted. Kids could set them up in their yards or even in pots.
That's adorable. And you could sell them as sets, like a starter kit with a house, a door, and a little bench. Then people come back for add-ons like a pond or a tiny bridge.
Exactly. It's like Legos, but make it garden. All right, last one. Painted planters. Everyone's got plants now. Succulents, herbs, whatever. But most plant pots are boring. What if you painted them with cool designs, personalized them, took custom orders?
Yes, and you could do matching sets, like 3 small planters that all have the same theme. People love that for their kitchen windowsills.
And here's the move. Sell them at farmers markets. Everyone buying tomatoes and basil. They probably want a cute pot for their herbs.
Ooh, smart. Cross-promotion.
All right, Lila, let me hit our listeners with the key lessons from your story because there's so much here. Number 1, start small. You didn't rent a factory. You used Grandpa's workshop. Number 2, let people come to you. You made something cool and customers asked to buy it. That's way easier than convincing people. Number 3, build an audience first. Your live streams created fans before they became buyers. Number 4, make it personal. People love knowing the story behind what they're buying. And number 5, partnerships work. You and Grandpa are a team. He builds, you paint. Find your partner.
That's perfect. I'd also add, don't be afraid to try weird stuff. Like streaming bird feeders sounds ridiculous, but it worked.
Yes, be weird, be bold, be you. All right, Lila, before we go, what's next for Lila's feeders for feathered friends?
Well, we're working on a squirrel feeder line now because people kept asking.
Listen to your customers. I love it. Lila Meadows, you're a legend. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right, future CEOs. That's it for this episode. Remember, you don't need permission to start. You just need an idea, some hustle, and maybe a grandpa with a workshop. If you loved this episode, leave us a review, tell your friends, and send me your business ideas. I might feature you on the next episode. Until next time, keep talking, keep building, and keep making that money, honey. This is Tallie Talks. Peace.